I also made the case for owning Bitcoin, the quintessence of scarcity premium. Scarcity premium is literally the only large tradable asset in the world that has a known fixed maximum supply. By its design, the total quantity of Bitcoins cannot exceed 21 million.
Bitcoin is the hardest money that has ever been invented.
If you don't have my private key, you cannot spend my Bitcoin, period. And this is the power of Bitcoin.
It's the first time we figured out how to create true property that you can take possession of with full custodial rights.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking in Bits, where we walk you through Bitcoin bit by bit so we can provide you with the information you need to succeed and persist. Back with episode 53, got Ben in the house.
What's going on, man? 53.
Things are great, man. Things are fantastic. Back to just bully the block, right? One of those things. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, no, things are good. Innovation keeps happening. I heard somebody say earlier that we talked about this before. I suck with the bear bull talk, like that financial talk.
Yeah.
But like somebody was making a nice solid argument for where like this whole thing was never a bear market. It's just been like one of those long consolidated bulls. Yeah. I don't know shit about shit, but it seemed like a good argument. I was like, that makes sense. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, the prices, yeah, I'm with you. The price is back in the 40K range. It's like Bitcoin isn't going back down to $20,000. Bitcoin is not going back down to $10,000. Like, we're past that.
Maybe I was impressed at his argument.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Was that on Twitter?
Yeah, it was on Twitter. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was just one of those things where I got caught up in one of the threads, and
Yeah.
maybe he just was like, because I usually don't care about it. Doesn't make sense to me anyways. Plus, I'm one of those that's like, Bitcoin gonna do what it do, meaning it's unpredictable, meaning that like, fam, you ain't got no legs in this fight. You can't predict what's about to go down.
The Bitcoin weatherman.
His argument made a bunch of shit. Yeah, the Bitcoin weatherman. By the way, I think I saw Will Clements earlier today, his first, what I would call glimpse into shitcoinery. Yeah, I was like, the Bitcoin crowd is not fucking with him.
Every time I see stuff like that, you'll see, who was it, Dirgigi? And then I think he'll respond with like the @ timestamp just to like timestamp people's stuff. So
I tried to do that once, and then like I got lazy, and it was like, you need to sign up for an account.
Service, yeah,
and I was like,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's not a lot of work, but I just don't want. I don't think I would use that feature, but that would have been a great time. He said something about, and I didn't even have this on the topics. I don't even know why we're here. But he says about Bitcoin wrapped Ethereum.
I've seen that. It's for what?
I don't know, but the thing to me is like, does it take away that it's still Bitcoin? Matter of fact, maybe I don't know shit about this. That's a badge of honor, right? Like you need my token to wrap your token and make it worth anything. That's kind of how I see that.
Yeah, the reason it's worth is because of what's inside of it.
That's what I mean.
It's wrapped in.
And that just sounds weird to say, by the way. What's inside of this? I don't even know what that means. Like nobody in my life so far has come up to me and presented me like, yo, I rap Bitcoin because like, where's that argument at?
I haven't seen anybody explain it.
Yeah, so like, and then he was saying that like 1.3% of like Bitcoin supply cap
is wrapped in Ethereum.
So
I've seen that.
What the hell does that mean? Does that mean that that it's still not 21 million? Does it mean that the fixed supply and the halvings don't matter? What are you talking about? Why did you even bring that up?
I think it's one of those things where Ethereum gains relevance just because it's holding Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but all right. So like, yeah, right. We still don't. But back to why did you bring that up?
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's because the Bitcoiners are sick and tired of your weatherman shit.
Probably.
Yeah, like just like the local weather, news broadcaster has to replace the weatherman every now and then. Like, fam, you've been off. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to sit you down and get somebody else and get the pretty lady up there, whatever. Yeah, I think Will Clement is going through that phase where he's about to go to the Ethereum people and start giving them that bullshit over there.
I mean, he's probably making money.
Huh?
He's probably making money. Like, as an influencer, you know what I mean?
He's an influencer. Back to the influencer talk we're having. Yeah, listen, everybody who listens to the show knows how I feel about guys like him. You're making money, feed your children. I think there's a lot of, mediocre ways to feed your children, and I think there's a lot of, like, more virtuous ways to do so. If you have to do that and you find quick success, I think his story is the Target story, right? Like he bounced out of Target, like because of Bitcoin.
I don't even know.
Yeah. I guess unless that's just a meme. But I think his thing is just he was in college, he was working in Target. He's probably gonna hit us up on this. Hey, check me on this, Will Clement. I think he was just working college, whatever, and then somehow he got put onto Pomp some way, newsletter, maybe because of his weatherman stuff. And then he got big and got a massive following, like really fast. Back with the Plan B dudes and the other weathermen, like they had this little run where it was like everybody was following them for whatever reason. So, and then he stuck to it. He just kept saying things, and people love that story. Even me, and just saying that, right? That's a cool story. The homeboy's in college, fighting his way through, gets out Bitcoin. But boy, did I hear that word Ethereum drop today. I don't even know how I saw this. Yeah, I don't know how I see McCormack stuff. I don't know how I see Will Clement stuff. I don't know why I see Willie Woo stuff. Because I have those individuals blocked, not for malicious reasons, for my own purposes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I see them, but I don't see Pomp. And I don't see J. Will. And I have them blocked. Same way.
Yeah.
How are they creeping in? How does this working?
I don't know. I think you can filter out words too.
You know who's creeping in there too? Laser Hodl. I have Laser Hodl blocked.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, and he still gets in there through topics and stuff like that. And it's weird because, I don't know. On that, maybe this is why I read this a little while ago that Kathy Woods for Mark dropped mad Twitter stock, like 127% Twitter stock. And then overall Twitter stock in the last 6 months is down like 42%.
That's a huge position, dude. She has a really big fund.
So if you're down 42% as Twitter, like maybe stuff like this is why. I like, if somebody explained that process to me. I have these individuals blocked all in the say. They're all really big. They're all influencers. But like it successfully can block these other two, thankfully. Ooh.
Yeah.
But these, like I saw Will Clement's post today, and I'm like, how? Like, how did? So, anyways, I didn't even want to spend the first 5 minutes on Will Clement. I'm actually mad.
Speaking of Pomp and Jay Williams, I tweeted them, and I'm like, I wonder what they have to say about BlockFi not allowing coin-joined Bitcoin or Wasabi mixed Bitcoin for someone who's trying to pay down.
You did that? Did they hit you back?
No. So, no, they didn't hit me back. Nobody messaged me, obviously.
Oh, okay. But you tagged them in a post. That's what you're
saying?
Yeah.
It was that Bitcoin post where this dude was like, "Hey, I pledged, I think it was like 600 grand in Bitcoin, and he took a $300,000 loan."
Okay.
And then
with BlockFi.
With BlockFi, the Bitcoin price went from say 60K to 30K, and he got liquidated. I think he went to add more Bitcoin to his position so they wouldn't sell his stuff.
Yeah.
And because it was coin joined, they still sold his stuff. Is
but they
what
still
I
took
got
it?
from it. I don't know. I'd have to pull up that Reddit thread, but he lost a lot of collateral off of something like that, and the issue is that they're not accepting that. And I've seen that a few times before, but bro, 300 grand, 600 grand, like that's.
Well, I mean, you've been through this through the loan. You can't just deposit Bitcoin.
Well, he was depositing Bitcoin.
That was coin joined, so they didn't reject it. But like, I don't know. What I'm saying is like, if he found out, like, if he knew that they weren't taking that, could he have just given
regular
quote unquote
Bitcoin?
clean Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you could do that in that service. I've never used them for lending or whatever. So
yeah,
at any time you can add collateral to the loan.
Correct.
Yes? Okay,
correct.
Cool. Okay.
In my understanding of his post, it was that I don't think he mixed it. I think he bought it off someone else. So he didn't even know the history of the UTXOs. So to him, he's like, hey, I've added, you know what I mean? That was the gist that I got from it. So there was some chatter about that, but it's like, bro, they're a bank. They're the feds.
BlockFi should absolutely honor that in that situation. Like if they can't prove that he coin joined it, first of all, they shouldn't block anything.
Facts.
That's okay, cool. But you got, whatever investors, you got a bunch of legislation. I think they're feds too. Fantastic. You got all this stuff. Cool. At the very least, you have to honor the fact that I didn't know. There isn't any tool that I know of for the average person to like filter, like what?
Transactions on UTXOs. It's crazy.
Yeah, BlockFi, you call them a bank, I call them dirty. They're just nasty. They have just a history of nastiness. So glad we're far removed from that. I actually had somebody reach out to me and was like, hey, y'all have grown very far. Like y'all have come from like, shout out to Pomp to basically like, oh, fuck that.
That's funny.
That is funny. But I still think it's one of those things where it's just growth. It's just understanding and realizing that like they shouldn't be playing those games, whatever the game is, whatever example you want to put with this asset, right? This is why we do Bitcoin only companies. This is why we only advocate for Bitcoin only companies, because there can only be a Bitcoin only company that understands this fundamentally, understands how important this is to their clients, and understand that they could go back, that they can't go back on their word when it comes to Bitcoin, and have that crazy fair balance between Bitcoin is unforgivable. Once something happens there, it happens there. So that's a very like steep edge. Like most customer services have a backup plan. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, Johnny, reach up to the salary and pay this guy back or whatever just to get him off. Good luck doing that on Bitcoin. It just doesn't work that way.
Case in point.
Yeah.
I sent a transaction to a wallet to someone. And
Come on, man, call some services out here, man. What is it?
No. It was my bad. Right?
Okay.
I sent one transaction out.
Well, what did you use is what I'm asking, but you don't have to say.
Oh, yeah. I was on a Ledger. right? And so I sent one transaction out. I sent another transaction out. The second transaction was supposed to be to another wallet of mine, and I didn't verify the address.
So what happened? It just went.
It went to that person. Luckily, I know them. Luckily, they sent it back. But there is no going back. There's no stop button. There's no return button. There's no customer service. You know
that's a huge
even
one.
like you can't call Ledger if you send a Bitcoin to the wrong address. So case in point there.
Yeah, and I think I guess it sounds like you do kind of what I do most of the time. When we're like, I guess experienced, we do take that stuff for granted. I think something that's been a game changer for me is, and I think a lot of services are starting to do that. Strike kind of highlights it. Is first 5, last 5. Like that seems to be like a really good strategy to not overwhelm somebody. And if you notice on Strike, when you send to an address, Cash App does it. I think most of them do it for the most part. They're going to highlight the first 5, the last 5, and then give you the in-between ones in a lighter font, right? So you can tell the difference. And as long as you verify that, you're safe to go. Meaning that the entropy cannot change at that point, either from the introduction of the 5 to the ending of the output of the 5. I think that's helpful. It's helped me out. But yeah,
I like it.
If you send it to somebody who, this is the thing, it could be one number off and that's still somebody else. Like, so it's not one of those where it could end up in like a dead end because, you know, it does check some checks and it has to be a valid Bitcoin address. So if you're off by one and it's not it's going to reject it. And no go, you can't send it. But like if you're off by a 3 and that happens to be somebody randomly, they're going to get that Bitcoin 1,000% and there's no going back. So very strange situation there. But I kind of want to gravitate this towards hardware wallets.
Let's talk about it. What'd you learn?
Well, I could tell you what I know about hardware wallets as it stands. You know, as we all know, you know, just safety, storage, right? Like this is where the long-term Bitcoin goes, behind private keys. We talk about this all the time. You talked about Ledger right now. We talk about Cold Card. We talk about Trezors all the time. And my day-to-day, I have to deal with all 3 of those. I think they all do Bitcoin signatures and transactions very well. We talk about Multisig. But what I've always thought about is you buy a hardware wallet so you can either set up a multi-sig or have, you know, a single sig to put Bitcoin away this is how you hodl. Get the private keys, you keep it away. I never think about, and I know you can, obviously, I never think about my cold storage as a day-to-day spending device, right? Because we got phones for that. We could just send through Cash App. We could do a lot of things. So the other day, I was working. I had Stefan Livera's podcast in the background. Shout out to Stefan Livera, huge fan. He had MVK on. Shout out to MVK, huge fan. Huge fan for, you know, for what I know. I still think he's a little trollish in his behavior, but shout out to MVK. Product is fantastic. Company's fantastic. Dedicated to Bitcoin. That's fantastic. So he starts talking about the MK4. For those of you that don't know, MK3 is the current Cold Card. Highly recommended. Really good, flexible, Bitcoin-only storage with a lot of features that you can really get crafty with your security with. That's actually what they pride themselves in, is clever ways to be secure. For a long time, they've been teasing and showing glimpses of the MK4. MK4 looks really good, looks stunning. He was on the interview with Stefan talking about the MK4, more RAM. I don't think a lot of people understand this. I actually go through this in day-to-day. So what I didn't know is if you have a lot of UTXOs, if you have a complicated transaction, so you have a shitload of UTXOs and maybe they're multi-sig, they're coming from a multi-sig, the Cold Card can actually crap out while signing the transaction.
Terrifying. What happens?
There is ways around it.
Yeah.
There's neither here nor there. That's a different rabbit hole. So it's your Bitcoin is safe. It's there. It's one of those situations though where it could be nerve-wracking to you if you see an error from your Cold Card saying, I can't do this. So interesting. The MK3, if you have a lot of UTXOs and you have a big transaction, struggles, and this isn't just a Cold Card thing, this is a Trezor, this is a device thing. They struggle with signing big transactions because they don't have enough RAM. So MVK is talking about like they went from like, I don't know the exact number, but he's like, we went from like 5 megabits of RAM to like 5,000 megabits of RAM. Like we have this level now where it's gone. So it's an overall improvement across the board, better materials, better screen, buttons are better. A lot of people complain about how tacky the buttons are in Cold Cards. Things like that. USB-C. That's huge in my opinion. But you know, NFC.
NFC to go non
NFC is inside the MK4.
Okay.
All right. By the way, listen to this podcast because they have a few products.
I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, they have a I don't know the exact name, but they have a smart card that's NFC, so you can
I've seen those
fast. They have the new generation of open dimes that are coming out, so like it's a very fascinating. But let's go back to the MK4. So the MK4, as MBK was explaining it, is this type of situation now where like, think about what a wallet is right now. You have it in your back pocket, you pull this thing out, you pull fiat dollars out of it, or you pull your debit cards out of it, and you whatever. What happens to the day when I could just have a code card to simply pull it out and tap on that NFC panel and keep it walking?
And pay through Lightning.
I mean, I don't think it has the Lightning capability, but instant, like the settlement of the Bitcoin transaction or being able to have that.
But and that's between like you and a store, like a merchant?
Yeah, you and a store. Now somebody will be saying, well, I don't want to do this or whatever, or you want to do Lightning or whatever. So what if I grab this other product that they got, this card, and I grab my hard storage and I tap that up and now I have Lightning ability instantly on the fly. Yeah. Yes, you can do this from your phone, and we're going to talk about Cash App in a little bit. Yes, you can do that, whatever. But why can't you have a cold storage that sits in a safe, that sits hidden very well, and why can't you have a storage that replaces your wallet in your pocket now?
No, I agree with you. I like the idea. It's like having a Bitcoin card.
Yeah.
That replaces your credit
with
card.
the security of a hardware wallet, because maybe these smaller cards don't have the security. They have to have stripped down OSs because they need to be basic. And actually, I think he talks about this, how like the new Open Dime can't have the software that a cold card has because it doesn't have the components for it. So, I was just like, wow, to have the security of Bitcoin 100% foolproof on a device that I could walk around now and because of NFC be able to tap. By the way, it generates QR codes, right? It does various different things that he even sounded excited about. But it blew my mind because once again, at the current state, a hardware wallet is hide that bitch, keep it safe.
It's a vault that you just gotta hide.
It's a vault.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Now
this
you're
is
portable.
Gonna change the damn game.
Yeah.
This is gonna change the damn game because now you can bring Bitcoin security on the fly, on the go. I thought it was a great conversation. I'm excited from the MK4. I think it's supposed to be 150. The current one is 120.
Not bad.
I think it's in that area. Yeah, no, inflation, and he has gone,
it's an update.
Verbatim saying, like we've gone across the board and just amped this thing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was curious about the conversation, what was intriguing about this conversation is how excited they were about NFC. Now, mind you, I'm an NFC user since Samsung Galaxy S on Verizon. Like a very long, like when you would show up to McDonald's, you would tap this thing, and they didn't even know why you wanted to tap that.
Yeah.
Like, just grab my phone. It's okay. Just put it right there. It's gonna pay for it. And they're like, what? Like that's not gonna. So like to see this type of level of sophistication, it is freaking insane. What a great conversation. Bitcoin only companies support only Bitcoin only companies. I thought it was fascinating. I think what's about to come is game changing. The new Open Dime sounded dope. I don't know much about that.
What do those cost?
I think the basic ones are cheap. I never bought one. I'll be honest here. So I don't know. I think they're cheap though. Like, and then he did say like, hey, we like making those because we're Bitcoin like fiends and like we like to do this. But like we also have to make products that run a business, that scale. And these Open Dimes are not going to scale a business basically. Which I respect that stuff, but very exciting stuff coming in the space, and he was talking about how like this empowers other developers to be able to do similar stuff. So I'm excited about it. MK4. He didn't give a time frame for it. This isn't an ad. He talked about a lot of different things on that. But check out that Stefan Livera podcast. But in the continuation of this market that's about to show up, and that MVK was kind of hinting at, and this NFC tap and this flexibility, Cash App Lightning, man.
Why don't I have that update? Come on, fam.
I don't either. I have a scary answer for you that I don't know if it's true, and I'm working on figuring it out. But I saw somebody else post that they were locked out because of a restriction thing. I hope that's not happening here in Massachusetts. Nor do I see why that would make any sense, and they would have to explain that to me. Why can I do Bitcoin and not do Lightning?
That's trash. I'm pulling up the Open Dime. These look fire. Orange Open Dimes.
Oh yeah,
it's like a USB.
It's a great device.
3-pack, $59. $20.
Yeah.
I figured they were $20.
Yeah, and they're basically like flexible private keys. So you load them up, you hand them out.
Dude has them on a necklace.
Yeah, you got to move them. You got to move them over. You don't want to leave it on the Open Dime forever, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, he speaks about that.
It's a hot wallet, right?
It is like a one-use hot wallet, right?
Okay,
like
that's what I thought it was. One time use.
Yeah, and I've never used one, so I'm just speaking out of what I've heard. But yeah, gotcha. I know it's a great product, but he has a newer version coming out. They have 3 products coming out, which is really cool. Not to mention their clock. Their clock is still one of the greatest.
What's the name of it?
I think it's like the bit clock or something like that. I don't know.
It's expensive, right?
It's about $300.
Okay.
Yeah, stack sats.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to mention that as we were talking about hardware devices, thinking through like, all right, how much is too much for a hardware device? Like imagine like a luxury hardware device. Is that $500?
I mean, the person who depends on the services, meaning like who's cell phone friendly, Cash App, Apple, whatever they do or whatever, they're going to say that $100 is way too expensive. But the person that cares for Bitcoin security will pay, I think, up to $250 for a device.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially if it's doing different things, right? Like he sold that MK4 as you can use it as a safe, but this is what we're really excited about. So like you don't have to use, you can use it multifaceted, right? Like it could be one of those things.
Yeah.
And if you know how to wipe your devices and do these things, you may even be able to live off both lifestyles off of one device. If you prepare yourself good enough, like keep your private keys for your safe really private, and then just roll around with that hot cold wallet, right, on that. And like I said, I don't think you want to be tapping that everywhere if their smart card can do that. But I'm pretty sure that card is going to have limitations just because it can't pack an OS. What the hell is that little card going to be able to do processing-wise and all this other stuff-wise?
Right.
It's going to be like you have to load it up before you go. Before you go to El Salvador, you better load up this little thing.
Exactly.
But
That's what I was thinking. It'd be good for like international travel.
Yeah, but if I got this damn hot code card on me or whatever, man, I just load up whenever I want and have the security of Bitcoin running on what sounds like a highly polished chipset. So we'll see. I mean, we don't have heroes here, right? So like if this code card ends up coming out and being a dud, whoops.
Even if it's a dud, I still like the direction that it's going in.
Well,
You know what I mean?
the trend, right? Let's go back to the Cash App Lightning. It's the trend that's happening here. It's now Bitcoin is being opened up to simplicity, right? And when it opens up to simplicity, even the stubborn people have to pay attention because now you cannot use the argument that it's too complicated.
Right.
And we're reaching that crevice with value for value. We're reaching that crevice with a lot of things. A lot of people were always under the impression was like, hey fam, I love the value to value thing, but it's just too complicated to, even though Fountain makes it easy. We talked about this. It's too complicated. What's so hard about grabbing your Cash App, loading up your Fountain wallet or whatever Breeze wallet and then rolling with that? It's getting that wall is getting thinner. So now even the stubborn people have to pay attention. I don't have Cash App Lightning.
I don't have it either.
I tried from the Bitcoin browser. It tells me that I need a valid Bitcoin address. Cool. Now I saw I think it's their project manager over there for that post, and I noticed in his video that he did it from the main screen, which is the green screen usually, from the right, and just scanned the QR code. So this is the only way I've tested it. I've gotten a Fountain invoice, a QR code. I can't scan my own phone, so I've just gotten that picture on a different device like my laptop. Opened up Cash App, went to it, scanned it. It looks like it picks it up. It just goes black. And then it goes back to the main screen. Nothing happens. No processing. And I've also seen people get greeted with a prompt that says, hey, Lightning's enabled.
Fire.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I haven't got that prompt.
Yeah, you mentioned you're thinking certain states won't have access to it right now?
I saw somebody post that.
Okay.
I didn't dig deeper into it. I was kind of doing that like, I hope this is not us. But like, why? It doesn't make any sense. New York, I get. They're tight, right? That's
what I was going to say. New York is usually heavily regulated, and a few other states where like you can't get certain stock trading apps and certain things. But
why? Why Lightning?
Yeah, hopefully that rolls out soon, man.
Yeah, hopefully it does. They're saying it's live to everybody. That's why I'm a little bit puzzled. And
I saw the post and I saw your tweet and I responded to it, bro.
I did my due diligence.
Updated my app.
I actually reached out to their terrible customer service. Mind you, Cash App, we are fans of Cash App.
Service is trash.
It's just like that person that greets you up front can't pretend to know what they're doing. If they're going to be the handoffer person, they need to behave as such, meaning that they'll take you down a trail of conversation just to basically say they're going to forward your information to somebody else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friction there, right? Why can't the person that's servicing me all the way to my solution be the guy that's talking to me on the messenger? Like, why is there a handoff here? Whatever. Anyway, let's not get into that situation. But so I did my due diligence and I actually asked them, and I'm supposed to hear back via email after this long thread, but I did everything that they asked me to do. They asked me to like delete the app and install it again. I had to do that a few months ago for another feature.
That's weird.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. So I was like, I was cool with that because actually on iPhone at least, when you reload the app, everything comes back. You don't have to do like the signing stuff. So
Gotcha.
I'm not too mad at doing that. I did that. They told me to just force close the app. I did that. I did a few things, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm excited for this feature.
Nothing. Yeah,
nothing.
I updated my app. Nothing on mine.
Yeah, they told me that. Update the app and update your OS. Both up to date.
Yeah.
I hope this comes to us because I do like Strike. By the way, if you're buying a few $100s, like a big amount, of Bitcoin, just do the strike to Cash App thing. Like it would save you so much money. And I don't use any other exchange besides, I guess, Cash App, if you want to call them. They are an exchange. So I don't use anything else, so I can't compare prices. But like, I'm talking about like $9-10 differences in what you would pay by just paying a very low miner fee, sending to a Bitcoin address, than it is to go to Cash App and pay whatever the fee is.
Yeah, that $5-10 fee.
And I think Cash App is on the lower side of the Coinbases of the world. I don't use those services. I don't know. So, but yeah, I keep harping on that. Try it. Like, I think two things will keep me on strike for, the long haul. And it's, the really cool partnerships they do, Pay with Moon, 5%, like rewarding me for using it. I love that. I think that's fantastic. And being able to send Bitcoin, as long as I'm willing to cover the miner fee, to any Bitcoin address. If they do that, they're going to keep me for the long haul. I know other companies can do that too, but I love that. But yeah, go get a Strike app if you don't have one by now. It's useful for other things too. But like, send to a Bitcoin address and get your money's worth, man. These exchanges are eating you, and there's no reason for them to eat you besides you just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought a lot of coin, I was going through Coinbase.
Yeah, that's tough.
And it was just like fees. So you do that over, a long period of time. It's like you can have more coin.
Yeah.
I was explaining the miner fee to Giovanni, and it was just like, yeah, there's like no fee. This is the miner fee. This is how miners get paid. And it's intricate, man.
Yeah, it's important. Everybody has a job to do, and if you do it well, you get your incentive for it.
Exactly.
It's a very fantastic system, of course. But yeah, well, we're big Cash App fans before we move on, but I don't know what's going on. If you are listening to the show, by the time you listen to this episode, if you find the solution, hit us up.
Let us know.
I have no idea. But either way, even if we're not for us, kudos to the people that have gotten onboarded to Lightning literally overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Literally overnight, you have the ability. This is what
and it's easy.
It's not that as easy as because people are like, but because apps like Cash App make it look instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, I could send free out that for it. The thing is that like, I can send pennies if I want. This is the thing that you're not, like, most people don't get. Like, if I want to give you a nickel, good luck doing that on a Visa network.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck doing it on even Cash App is going to tell you $1 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
$1 minimum and even that, I don't even think they're making any money off that dollar, but $1 minimum. Yeah, the fact that I could say, hey man, why don't I stream, why don't I load up 50 cents and stream my favorite podcaster 5 sats a minute and let that kind of sit there for a little bit. Good luck. And now Cash App, literally overnight, your Cash App that's sitting on your phone now activated that potential to the masses. Back to the trend of the show. This is the new phase that we're going into. Terminals, acceptance, NFC tapping. It's super exciting. I'm super excited. And that Cash App Lightning got me excited because I heard the MK4 conversation. And now my brain is just thinking of really cool ways. I know this sucks because I hodl or whatever, but like really cool ways of spending my Bitcoin. Like I'm like, yo. And then especially if you could do the strike thing, which is like, all right, maybe I don't spend my Bitcoin, but I could turn this dirty money into cool Bitcoin that I could just start tossing around and tipping people with and doing stuff like that. Boy, it's about to get fun, man.
We're still not at the point where your server has a QR code, where your favorite mural has a QR code, where your flight attendant has a QR code. We were in the airport recently and someone was playing music and it's like, where's your QR code? I can just boom, tap that, pay that.
And nobody have control of that QR code.
Right.
Right. Like we're going to talk about it later, but like say like the Canadian truckers and that whole situation, like,
permissionless money.
GoFundMe had that problem, right? Like even if GoFundMe had control of that QR code, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And like you saying, being able to just be like, no, I'm going to create this QR code off my own private keys, off my own property, off my own, and I'm going to display it for you to be able to say, hey, this money's going to go to Ben. This money's not going to go to like, Spotify, Anchor.
No third party, man.
Yeah. Like, I think that's awesome because ultimately, I know there's a lot of evil going on in the news and, day-to-day stuff and people are having a hard, but ultimately I think people, when they know they're like doing something and you're solid in your good behalf, feel really good about that.
Absolutely.
I think that's gratifying.
Absolutely.
So we haven't been able to do that with money for a while because now it's like, I want to give, Ben $50, but ultimately, since I only got $50, he's gonna get $42.50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then it's that weird conversation to explain to Ben, like, hey man, I wanted to give you 50, but 42. But like, why? Why did you take that $8 away from Ben when I just wanted to do a solid for Ben?
I do a lot of transactions overseas, man, and a lot of them, if I'm spending $250, the fee's like $8.
So you got to overpay, right? Because,
I got to overpay
because they want to get their flat back. So you could do it that route too. But if I only have $50, man, how weird of a gift is $42.50 when it could have just been a nice $50? Like imagine getting a gift card and homeboy tells you, yo, that's $42.50. That's $42.50, bro. You can't go. It doesn't make any damn sense, right? So like that's what's happening here. So like people, you're right. Cash App makes it look instantaneous in the background. You can send your favorite OnlyFans star $5 right off the rip. It happens off the rip. But damn, you can't send them 5 cents per second of watching their film.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm giving OnlyFans a love here too. I'm giving all y'all ideas.
Yeah, I love the idea of Fountain App saying like you can stream money at certain moments in the episode. You know,
that's not a Fountain App thing, but yes, their implementation is really good. But that's what it's about. It's like these apps since Sphinx early on have given you the option and the full control to pick like the threshold, the timing, if it's just a one-time donation or if it's constant. And because of Lightning, there really is no limit.
Yeah.
Like you could do, we're talking about pennies because I think that's impressive, right? But like I could send you $500 over Lightning right now and it's gonna happen instantaneously for dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, when I learned about the strike to Bitcoin thing, what I was doing was strike to Lightning. So I would go to MUN, and then for MUN, right? But then either it's not much of a change or not much. I just figured if I just timed the mempool, it wouldn't matter if it's on chain or Lightning because I got low time preference in that sense, and it's gonna be cheap regardless. So I just stopped doing it that way. But that's how I even figured out, oh crap. Like, this is a good idea to just send to a Bitcoin wallet address that belongs to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm paying myself at a miner's, if the mempool is low, miner's dirt fee. Like,
13 cents.
Many times I've spent $500 and have paid $499.90 to like get this Bitcoin. Like, that means 10 cents to pay for that Bitcoin. And if I mock it up in Cash App at some point, I don't know, off the head, it was a while ago, but it'll probably be like, they take $8 in fees. Let's keep using that $8 number, right? So it's just, you just got $8 in sats back for sending money to yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't think people understand the power of that. But the reverse power of that, hey man, if I only think that the content is worth 25 cents, or if I only tune in for 25 cents worth of time, that's cool, man. I don't need $1 minimum. I'll give you 25 cents and I'll keep it moving. And I could let you know it's me, but I could also just keep it moving and just like give it to you and just keep walking away. Like, hey, kudos to you, guy on the corner of the street. Mm-hmm. Kudos to you, painter who put this mural up, right? So overnight, man. That's been happening, except for me and Ben. But we're still waiting. But and that's weird because you got Android and I got iOS, and neither one. I hope it's not in Massachusetts. I'm gonna be pretty upset at that.
I feel like there would be like, typically there's like a notification or disclaimer that says like, hey, you're in Massachusetts, so you can't get the Lightning based on state regulation.
I like the word typically used there, but
I don't know.
That leaves the option for just they're not giving a fuck, or they don't know yet. Maybe their what do you call it? Their compliance team doesn't know yet. Yeah, like maybe it's not big enough of a problem where people I don't know. I hope I get it soon. I'm definitely gonna be hitting, like Bitcoin Audible was probably my go-to, but there. I look forward to loading up my Fountain app. I look forward to doing this and sending sats over. So I did use Strike for that. I did use a combination of MUN for that. There is ways around that. But if I could do it for my Cash App, that now starts to become my centralized app. That's the app that I go to now to do a lot of my transacting. And we talked about Tidal. We talked about all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Get ready, y'all. Get ready, y'all, because it's about to be a fun ride. And at the speed they're doing this, February 8th, dropping this stuff. They talked about this a few weeks ago. They were already, like, LDK came out maybe November. I'm guessing all these timelines. I think they're moving fast.
I think this year we're going to see Bitcoin streaming direct to artists on Tidal. Exclusively
on most platforms. Yep,
I think it'll be this year for sure, man. Next year at the longest, but that has to happen.
The companies that have the less fossil connections will jump on faster. So like I'm just gonna throw names. Spotify. The more ingrained you are in like the old legacy connections and deals and stuff like that, you're fucked because you're gonna have to honor those contracts and you're gonna have to like kind of like weasel your way out of these deals to now rebrand and do something new. Mm-hmm. But if you weren't in like Tidal, because the Tidal's kind of been like the ugly stepchild of music streaming, if you weren't in to begin with, and now you have the powers of Jay-Z and the powers of Jack and the powers of all those, all these artists that are shareholders and stuff to be able to like now show the culture. We've talked about this before. To be able to show the culture how to stream value for value, adoption is about to go insane.
Yeah. Have you used the app, Tidal?
What? A long time ago.
Okay.
I'm a Spotify user.
Okay. I was going to say, how was it, like UI and all?
It's really good. At the time, I don't know if they've changed it or stuff. Two things that I really like about Tidal, and I hope they still do them to this day. You can find artist credits
Fire. Yeah, they were big on that. I remember we talked about that.
Like,
yeah, who produced that? Who wrote that? Who's on it?
Why is this not just standard? Like, I want to know this stuff. Maybe a lot of people don't. Yeah. I do sometimes. Anyways, that they were the very first ones. I know a lot of people to the hi-fi sound.
Yeah.
I'm not an audiophile, so maybe I didn't notice.
Yeah, you just get more frequency. It's like playing an MP4 versus playing a WAV file.
Sure, but usually I'm on some earbuds, and if you got crappy earbuds,
you're not gonna hear much.
Then what the fuck's the point of that? So like, I did their few. They had a few. I think Kanye dropped a joint that was exclusive to them. Pablo, I believe, was exclusive to them for a bit. So I did their free tier. Stayed for like 6 months. Since then, I actually banned Spotify for a very long time. And then recently, my teenage kids, so my older kids or whatever, started to care more about music streaming. So I got a family plan.
Yeah.
I was over there because of Joe anyways, and a few other podcasts, Joe Rogan. So I was like, what the hell?
There you go.
I actually remember having with a few coworkers last year while I was out there in Austin, having this like, I'm not doing Spotify. So they got me. Well, the kids got me.
Yeah.
I still do more podcasting, which is free, than music. So I'm not getting my money's worth, but the kids definitely are, and that's what's important in this situation. Maybe I jump back to Tidal.
Yeah, I might even give it a spin. I'm using Amazon right now.
This is the real question here.
Yeah.
Are you going to charge me $15 a month if I'm giving artists direct money?
Yeah.
Why? I don't want to give you anything.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Or what if they said
to take away the ads and stuff?
Imagine if they did like if you transact more than $15 a month direct to artists, like your title is free.
How do they build a business off of that though? I think
that's
gonna be a good question.
Yeah, there'll still be a fee, but
I think there'll be 2 tiers.
Yeah,
non-lightning or non-featureless or whatever. $15, you get the old school whatever.
Cheaper for the lightning?
Free. I think it's a free tier that has advertisement, but also allows you to stream value for value.
Okay, and then if you want no ads, like $10.
I don't know. Maybe this is the problem they're having. Maybe this is why it hasn't rolled out, because I think you can't just rug pull people and expect them to go from spending $15 an hour, $15 a month, to now giving $15 a month plus the money to the artist.
Yeah.
So you have to like, if you're full incentivizing the artist, you have to like take the hit as a business and say, all right, well, we can't do this. We want the money to go to you. And then maybe in the back, have a kickback from the artist.
Yeah.
Like, we'll at least get 5% from you.
Something.
It got to be something. But then, I don't know, that leaves the room for charlatans and shitty contracts. Maybe that's what they're stuck with. But I agree with you. I don't think it's far. And just like Bitcoiners do.
And I'm just saying, Jack is moving fast, bro.
Well, I was about to say, just like Bitcoiners and plebs do, they light the fire under these big companies' asses. And if you're not going to do it, well, Imperious Browser is going to do it. And other people are going to do it. So, and you might as well just hire these people or buy them out because it's in your best interest to do so. But yeah, the connections are there. We talk about it. I can't wait. Hopefully I can do this from my Cash App. And if I can't, well, there's a gazillion other apps. I call it Mun. It's Moon. Whatever the hell it is. There's a Strike. There's a lot of different ones out there. Chibo if you're in El Salvador and all that. I don't think Lightning is a secret.
No.
But you need that plug to connect it to the masses, to the culture. And I think that's where Jack comes in.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, like, he doesn't have to try. He already has the connections. They already have the image. They already onboarded, I'm going to say billions of businesses, maybe millions. So what is it to just say, hey, now your terminal not only does that, now you have this QR code that you can mess with. Oh, you don't know what the QR code is? Well, fantastic.
Let me show you.
Here's this nice little fancy pop-up that's going to show you exactly what you're going to do with that, right? Like, and then, et cetera. The dominoes start happening, but innovation sparks, and that's where it's really cool. We could transition from all the exciting shit that's happening to Bitfinex.
Yeah, the Fed said they got a wallet and some hackers. It was like $3.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. I guess they arrested the 2 people, and allegedly they found the keys somewhere online. Like you're smart enough to steal eventually $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Maybe it's like 100,000 Bitcoin. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're smart enough to do that, but you're dumb enough to keep your private keys somewhere where someone else can take them from you, and to keep that entire pot in one wallet.
Yeah.
Like, come on, fam. Like, is you dumb? Like,
why is this news?
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think this is FUD.
If they said, hey, we've apprehended the suspect and we waterboarded them and they, confessed to where their keys were, like, give me something like that before you say they were that dumb that they left their keys online, because I'm not buying it.
Well, it tells me 2 things. It's either they were that dumb and they left their key and they deserve to get bought, if that's the sense. But the other end of it is FUD. It's just like, Absolutely. Come on, like, well-placed FUD. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're now, and I don't know how true those stories are as well. But like, I don't think it's coincidence that you're hearing about other world leaders talking about Bitcoin and starting to incentivize Bitcoin. And here we go with the federal government now giving this FUD instead of just saying, damn it, we're on board with y'all. Like, this is the stubbornness of that big old dinosaur fossil legacy system, is that like, you know it's good for you, but you refuse to take the chowder. Like, just eat the chowder because we're gonna save you from yourself, if that makes any sense. But they don't get it, and they do this stuff. And hopefully that means that all this repossessed Bitcoin is what they're hodling, right?
Yeah.
On the bright side of things.
I don't even think they have it in custody, man.
I don't either.
Like,
cool.
show me that transaction. But if you really do, like...
Yeah, there's ways to show us.
Yeah.
Right. But like, if you do, just hodl it at least and protect yourself from obviously these other countries being much smarter and much more hip. Let's just use the old fossil term here. Much more hip to what's going on than what you are.
Listen, the United States defense budget is like $1 trillion. If they
probably
took probably more than that. If they took half of that and just dedicated it to Bitcoin mining or buying Bitcoin, like you immediately put yourself ahead of every other country.
They had a big spaces group. Now that we're on that topic, I didn't really pay much attention because I was like in and out. It was like around the phone, but it was supposed to be about like universal basic income and how that works on the Bitcoin standard.
It doesn't. Is what I saw. They were like, it doesn't work because there's no proof of work. Like UBI is like proof of stake.
Yeah, no, but there was good compelling arguments on the other side. I agree with you. I think you should just get your Bitcoin as you do. But like, they were talking about as Bitcoin being the monetary layer for that. So you're not handing Bitcoin out to people. Okay. You're just using that as the foundational layer to maybe hand more USDCs or fiat tokens. Shout out to Safety on that. That's a perfect term.
Fiat tokens.
So maybe to like give universal income, because we know that Bitcoin is a set monetary value and it starts to deflate, go down over time. So like maybe it's like this system of like you get these fiat tokens based off this monetary structure. Once again, I was in and out. Good arguments on both sides. It kind of seems like the real hodler plebs were basically saying that doesn't work. Yeah. But if you, for a second at least what I tried to do is take yourself away from being a personal hodler and personal sovereign to like how can Bitcoin fix bigger issues. With my very limited scope in that arena, I was able to kind of rationalize this and be like, okay, well, maybe we're not handing out Bitcoin direct, but how can we peg this fiat token to Bitcoin in the sense that it's actually valuable? So instead of them getting $1,200 like they just did a gazillion times in the last few years, maybe, people are getting less, over time in that sense to incentivize them to fly, little birdie, right? Instead of this like other thing, which fiat does, which is up, which is you get 1,200, next year you get 24, next year you get... Okay, well, now you're just incentivizing people to do jack shit because it's going up. But if I have this standard where it kind of gets lower over time and then you're on your own, like that type of thing, and we know this from the very beginning and we have set rules on this, can't be inflated, politicians can't fuck with it, then I could see a point where a lot of these people that are just really talented, really good, and just having a hard time to be able to give them something that's valuable and not have it melt, like have it actually do something, whether it's Bitcoin Direct or a fiat token that's derived off of Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. But I listened to the conversation loosely, but Jack was there. I mean, there was a big turnout. I don't know enough about it to say if it works or not. But I do like every now and then, especially since I talk Bitcoin literally all day, I do like every now and then taking myself away from hodler mode and thinking about like, all right, well, what if I have to like use my Bitcoin to do something or contribute to something bigger in that sense? This is a world problem, an economic problem. Maybe a U.S. specific problem. I don't know if this is happening in other countries, but obviously universal basic income doesn't work in the fiat network, in the fiat system.
Does it work on a Bitcoin standard?
Can it? I don't know. Smarter people than me take care of those things, but I thought it was fascinating. That's just me. Bitfinex, screw that. You want to talk about the permissionless money, the Canada truck drivers? We had that a little bit later.
We talked about it a little bit. I mean,
update the people on that.
Yeah, the deal was there's political things going on in Canada, and truckers came together and people donated to a fund, and the third party, GoFundMe. This isn't something new, by the way. They've been doing this, but this is just a really large amount. They raised like $9 million, and they said, you know what? We're not going to give this $9 million to the truckers. We're actually going to give it to these charities. And they're not even going to give it back to the senders. And then there was a lot of kickback online. And then GoFundMe was like, all right, we're going to give it back, don't worry. But it's just like, bro, not the entire point of Bitcoin, but it is permissionless money. There is no third party who's going to say, I approve of whatever you're trying to transact. Like, there's going to be bad actors on the Bitcoin network who are, doing drug deals and black market deals who are transacting in Bitcoin, and there are going to be good dudes who are doing, good deeds with this.
Yeah.
But like one of the major selling points is this is permissionless money. You cannot stop me from giving Jose whatever I want to give him. Or if an entire country wants to give Jose, imagine if everyone just donated to Ross Albright's legal fund. And they were like, you know what? We're really going to try and free Ross. Like, the state wouldn't be able to stop that. And if it became like $100 million, like, would he have a retrial? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't no idea on that.
I don't know.
That's a big scope.
But
only if you get in front of Jose though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Or even like with Edward Snowden. You know what I mean? Like, imagine everyone wanted to just contribute to him. The U.S. would obviously try to stop that if they could.
Yeah.
Or find his location to snatch him up or something. But
I'm sure they've tried. I'm sure they've attempted.
But yeah, no. So like, just seeing that, I mean, I watched that whole thing unravel, and a lot of people are tweeting like, this is the case point for Bitcoin. Like, it's permissionless. You can't do this with it. So
yeah,
it's just a use case, man.
I think the only danger, and I'm just gonna be devil's advocate.
Yeah,
I know, y'all. I know it's a good cause. Whatever.
You're talking about the Bitcoin fund?
I'm talking, the truck driver. In general, I guess we don't have to focus on them specifically. Just in general. If you can, just as we talked about earlier in the episode, unforgivable. Like, if you can get in front of these causes, you can steal a lot of money.
Absolutely.
As well.
Imagine me and like Al Sharpton with the Bitcoin.
I mean, who's controlling? Who's giving these truckers this money, man?
Yeah. I agree.
And how has that person been verified, man?
Right.
And maybe smarter people have done this verification, because I saw people dropping like a whole coin, 2 coins. Like, I got it. Like,
yeah.
So like, if you're blindly dropping 2 coins, you must be a massive whale.
Yeah.
And if not, then you did your investigation and you understand that these people are legit, or you understand them or whatever. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, the questions online I saw were like, oh, well, who's holding the key? Where's the transparency on the whole thing?
Like, it could be bad too. It could be all friendly and love. And I agree, not having a middleman like GoFundMe try to piece it out or just try to have control over it is great. But if somebody gets ahead in the charlatan shit and provides a QR code for something that's really important, they could just walk away with all this Bitcoin.
would a multisig work with something like that?
Yeah, I mean, multisig is great for just spreading out agreements. So if you can make an agreement, absolutely, it's smart.
Do you think there'd be a Bitcoin kind of GoFundMe, like synced with multisig?
Once again, anytime an agreement needs to be made where Bitcoin needs to be held or exchanged, why not have that extra layer of information?
That'd be fire.
Yeah. So like, we're going into these areas, but remember. Maybe Taproot changes this when it starts to evolve and become, multi-sig transactions are not light. Multi-changes, you can't really.
It's not lightning.
I don't think you can even. Yeah, I don't think you can do lightning on multi-sig. Right, it's one of those things. So, multi-sig still has a long way to go. But yes, for long-term agreements, like we talked about it briefly,
mortgage.
Real estate, right, like things like that, like maybe even car notes and things like that. There's a use case for all that. I still think there's a flaw in the medical system one, meaning that like. Eventually you may have to switch a doctor or like that but like I still think there's exploration for inside of the medical field and opening up medical records with a 2 of 3. We've talked about stuff like this. I just didn't think about solving the whole problem, obviously. But yeah, we're about to see a world that's going to be completely different, especially if
good.
Well, in the conversation with the thing earlier with the code card in my pocket, people always forget that they think that this is just a Bitcoin signature device. You can sign messages through cryptography, through Bitcoin. Like, you can embed messages, meaning that, like, what happens when you sit down with your lawyers for this contract, for this new house, for this mortgage, and instead of pulling out a pad and a pen, you tap your hardware device to private key sign this contract. And then they pull theirs out, private key sign that contract. And then the lawyer comes in and puts his as a third. That's a multi-sig, and we're tapping to make that happen.
It's fire. And
there's no money involved there. There's an agreement involved there, though. And we're all signing the same message. And on the blockchain, you can actually see messages. Miners, mining pools do this all the time. Regular people can do this all the time. It's an OP message. I don't know the exact name of it, but I believe it's an OP message. A script, and you can pretty much put anything in there. That's how Satoshi put the information on the Genesis block. So, like, once again, if the agreement that Ben has to pay for this mortgage for the next 30 years, blah, 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 is written into the script, Ben sees this in writing or on a tablet or wherever he can verify it. And all he has to do now is agree with the 2 other parties with his private key to say, let's do it. This could be a record contract. This could be an NFL contract. This can be just a deal for this podcast. This could be anything. That's what I was thinking when he was talking about, like, yo, you can walk around and just tap stuff. Like, Bitcoin is fun. But maybe there's a whole another arena where just the security of Bitcoin and being able to sign messages is a whole industry in itself, and it has nothing to do with spending your dough.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's about to go down, man.
I'm with you. Even on the Impervious browser and like even on Twitter, like Sailor's been saying like the spam bots are absolutely crazy. To get an orange check right on Twitter instead of the blue check, you should be able to put money at a wallet address or something, and then like that will kind of weed out the spam bots. But it'll be used to verify online identity in the future.
Yeah, that's a lot of bias, though, right? Like you'll be able to see, like, oh, this is a Bitcoiner, dude. It's orange. Yeah. Unless they drop like I know they got that Bitcoin blue or whatever. Unless maybe they drop like a carousel where you could change it to whatever color, and then people could set it to orange, and then it won't matter.
Or just in general, like on Reddit, you have to have enough, you have to participate enough in Reddit to post in certain groups.
Yeah.
So like if they did that in Twitter, it helped to like verify things, but.
Well, down 42% in stock. I don't think Twitter's innovating, and I got a pop-up, I think about like a week ago.
NFTs?
Did you see that pop-up?
No, what did it say?
No, I didn't read it, but like I went into one of the settings. Maybe I don't know what I was looking for, and it popped up, and it looked like a Picasso or something. It was just nuts. And I was like, what? And then I think they were just trying to tell me like you can now purchase.
Buy NFTs.
I think they were giving you one for free.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, skip? Like what is it that I want to do here? Like I want to get to what I was actually trying to get to.
Yeah.
I don't know, Twitter. Jack either saw it or
he had to be dealing with it. The day he went, bro, or the day after, it was like
collapse. Yeah, it was like
Ethereum now available. So it was a matter of like how soon is he gonna get kicked out?
Very strange. How long was he holding it for? Is what I want to know. Like, were they planning on it to kick him out and like implement it, and he knew that, or was it like he just kept denying these ideas? Like, nope, and they just got tired of it. Like, fam, you can't deny everything. You're gonna have to accept. That's an interesting. Maybe there'll be a documentary one day on Jack and the whole Twitter thing.
That'd be cool.
That is, if he doesn't do some stupid shit and fuck himself over.
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes left to our usual time. I want to talk about Talking to Business August.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this prophecy that we keep hinting on.
Yeah.
For the listeners, we appreciate y'all, of course. If you're a new listener, first-time listener, last-time listener, we appreciate you just the same. That means you took an ounce of your time to even spend it with us. And I think that's just magical in itself. This is why I love podcasting. This is why I think this is powerful, because we can connect through speaking like we should be, not through text, not through memes, which is also really cool. But like we have this like connection. You, the listener, listen to us, and you either think we're full of shit, you react, or you think you're on board with us, and that's also a reaction. And I respect it either way. So last August, I think this show just took an upturn, right? We started getting more listeners. Our quality just stepped it up a ton, thanks to you. We're definitely doing, bigger things in that direction. And we started talking to ourselves internally back even in August, which is like, we're going to be better. We're going to be better. We're going to be better. Meanwhile, though, like we would tune into our favorite shows and to our stuff and be like, well, why don't they have to be better? Like, what I've come to find out is they've just been in the game for a long time. That's easy. Like if you've been around since like 2017, obviously this is your time, this is your due, and it's well deserved. But I was always wondering, like me as a podcast connoisseur, because not only do I do podcasting, but I listen to podcasting for a very long time. I always want better. Like I want my favorite podcasters to step it up and do better. So we will always say that better. And slowly but surely, new lighting, new music, 4K since very early on, right? Better audio, better sound, better experience. And we continue to push that. And then back in, December or January, I posted, well, we're either going to make the Bitcoin podcasting space better or we're going to be the very best. I'm not going to call out nobody here, but it kind of seems like we were ahead of the ball again when it comes to quality, when it comes to content, and when it comes to entertainment. So I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen a lot of podcasters start to step up their game. But boy, does it look eerily familiar.
Yeah, I mean, and like even like lighting wise, they're not doing what we're doing.
Yeah, you know and I told you this before the show. Yeah. We don't have an ownership on shit.
Right.
We understand give and go. We understand getting inspiration from other creators. Nor am I saying that I'm the source of inspiration. What I'm saying is that, and this is what I want to harp on, we have a really good trend of being way ahead of shit. Whether it's information, whether it's the industry, whether it's the look, whether it's what we talk about. We seem to have this way ahead. And I've noticed that theme now transcend into that prophecy that I stated or that we've been talking about for quite some time. Kudos to you other podcasters. But this is a public service announcement. We don't stop. We on your ass. we don't do ads, and we don't care what your clout is. You're gonna have to continue to get better, because if you think it's all about angle shots and lighting, it's about a lot more than that. It's about entertainment. And if you guys for 1 second don't think that Jose doesn't lay at night in bed and pull out his cell phone, his notepad, and figure out what he's gonna talk to y'all about, figure out what he's gonna focus his energy on in that episode. If y'all not doing that for y'all listeners, you better start doing that, because it's gonna start to show, and we're gonna start to pull away again. So, once again, shout out to them. I hope the whole space gets better, because guess what? What we listen to and watch gets better. It's a win. It's a beautiful win across the board. But you can timestamp this. Go check out your favorite podcast 6 months ago in August, and go check out our podcast 6 months ago in August. Check for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't trust. Verify. Right? So not only in topics, but in the theme of which way this is going. I hope to steal inspiration from y'all, just like I hope you steal inspiration from us. But I pay attention. I take this shit serious. I don't charge. I'm willing to go down. Everybody dejected. I'm willing to go down to the ground with this, to be able to spread the word, right, of Satoshi and talk about it and be excited about Bitcoin and be able to like get more people onboarded to this. What are y'all willing to do? Are y'all willing to go to that level? Are y'all willing to cut some sponsors? Are y'all willing to stop shilling the other bullshit? I don't want to speak for you, good sir.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the ground with this one.
No, we've talked about this, bro.
We have.
I'm not in this for a paycheck. I'm not in it for a sponsorship. I'm not in it for.
Thankfully, by the way.
This is it, again. I love how Oscar from Fountain App put it. He was like, people love listening to podcasters because they're learning, and it's like people are learning together. You know what I mean? So just the experience to learn from you, hang with you. It's been great, bro.
I agree. But people also hate when they're getting pissed on and called rain.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's what eventually happens. I mean, and I'm speaking because I'm an avid podcaster. Like I've had relationships with podcasters, and it sounds like weird to say the word relationship, but like you have these like long-term, because you listen to them week after week after week, and you see them traverse into arenas that are just like,
you don't have to do that.
Man, like you needed the bag. You needed the bag. And unfortunately, the bag does dictate, the direction that the show is going in certain directions. This value for value hopefully fixes and saves a lot of these podcasters. But once again, my thing is about us being ahead and the endurance, right? Like how are you willing to go to as far as the distance as we're willing to go to make Bitcoin podcasting? Because I don't want to say podcasting because that's very huge, right? Then you compete with Joe Rogan. Yeah, but like the Bitcoin podcasting space, if you're not willing to step it up and actually give the listeners their time and in some situations their value's worth, please get off the field so I can compete with the guys that are ready to compete. That's what I'm on. That's what we're on here. And I just wanted to take a second to highlight that. I've been seeing the quality improve. I think it's kudos to the industry. Yeah. Hopefully it gets better.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's not calling anybody out, but that's where we're at there. 57 minutes, we're in?
Yes, sir, bro. 53.
All right, guys. Now is more easier than ever to support and show love to the show. If you do have the Cash App option, and you didn't have the Strike option, some people actually told me that they prefer not to get Strike. I respect that. You have Cash App now, though. Feel free to download Fountain or try to figure it out. Want to breeze another way? Reach out to us. We can help you out. I think you can now load the Twitter from Cash App.
Yeah.
So now you can go directly to the show.
Yep, correct. Right? Twitter profile.
You can go directly to the Twitter profile. If you don't want to install any added services, you can use Cash App now to fund that Lightning transaction. And show love for the show by any means. But if not, we just respect your time. Check us out on all other platforms, absolutely free. Check us out while you work.
YouTube,
check us out.
Instagram.
Yeah, no, check us. Yeah, Instagram. I'm not really on Instagram much. You've been holding down the Instagram. Check us out on Instagram. Check out the video on YouTube. Subscribe. You can't do any value for value there, but go check us out on Bitcoin TV. You also can't do value for value there, but to us, Bitcoin TV is a more important platform than YouTube is. So check us out wherever you can. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the value you give to us, and hopefully the value we give back to y'all. Episode 53 in the books.
Right, bro. All
right, we appreciate y'all as always. We'll talk to y'all next week. Later.
All opinions expressed by Jose and Ben or any of the guests on this show are solely their opinion and their opinion alone. Their opinions do not reflect the opinions of any other sponsors or other parties involved in the recording of this show. Do not treat any opinion expressed by Jose and Ben as a specific endorsement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy. Their expressions of their opinion on this show is purely for informational purposes.